So I'm back with another Cerebral solo. And for this one, I kind of wanted to talk about a quote that I talked about on my TikTok a while ago. My TikTok will be linked in the description if you guys wanna follow that. But when I used to do quote of the day, when I used to do quote of the days every day, I should get back to that. But when I used to do quote of the days, one of the quotes that really got to me was, under the right circumstances, I could be you. And I kind of wanted to delve a little bit deeper into that, because when I spoke about it on my TikTok, I wanted to keep it relatively short, like my surface level thoughts. But I wanted to, dedicate an entire Cerebral solo to the quote. So, here we go. So, as far as the quote goes, when I first heard it, I thought it made a lot of sense, because when you really think about, when you really start to, think about things, you start to think about other people's circumstances and how other people live and how you live, and then you start to think to yourself, if I made this choice at this time, I could possibly be him, or he could possibly be me, depending on how the dominoes fall. Or let's just say you decided to put your socks on instead of your pants first that day. That could lead into a whole nother slate of decisions that you can make and stuff like that, leading into the butterfly effect, which is a whole nother can of worms that I'm not really trying to get into. But when we get back to the quote, I want to really focus on the the kind of, just making certain decisions, and how those certain decisions, it might not affect you in the now, but it could affect you later on in life, or it could affect your future generations, whether you decide to have kids or your kids, all just based on that one decision. So, and then when I started to think about it a little bit more, I started to kind of think about Batman and the Joker. Excuse me if I'm getting in a little bit of my nerd bag here when I talk about this, but with Batman and the Joker, the whole dichotomy between them is they each had one bad day, and that one bad day led them to make a decision that led them down specific paths. When it comes to Batman, his one bad day was he witnessed his parents get mugged and get shot in an alley. With the Joker, he was depending on his origin, because his origin does change. He does not have a specific origin, but the specific origin that people like to go with is that he is a down on his luck comedian who had a wife who was pregnant, and then decided to get involved with these bad people, and through that, he ended up falling into a vat of acid and becoming who he was. So, through those bad days, they ended up making decisions that set them on the courses that they were on. So when they do finally meet up, Joker's whole thing is everyone's one bad day from becoming like him, but everybody's also one bad day from becoming Batman, if you look at it in a superhero, the supervillain sense. And that's one thing that's really interesting, because when you start to think about it in real life terms, if you look at how certain people live life and the decisions that they make, you could be one decision away from either being really successful or really down on your luck, or if you don't make a decision, you could just stay in the same place. So for me, when I constantly hear that quote, I constantly start to think of, okay, if I make this decision, is this decision going to benefit me, or is this decision going to hinder me? So I try myself to make the decisions that are going to benefit me in the long run, rather than, make decisions that are going to provide instant gratification but then not benefit me at all in the longer run. Not to say that the decisions that can benefit you immediately are bad choices. That's not exactly what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, I'd rather make a decision that's going to benefit future generations and also myself later on in life, to where I can enjoy the fruits of my positive decision, whatever that positive decision may be. So I know I'm sounding really, really all over the place. It's because I don't script these videos. I kind of, like, say what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling, and hopefully I'm sounding coherent enough to where people can understand. But when it comes to the quote, it all depends on the decisions you make. You can be left with a choice of, okay, let's do it this way. Your friends are involved in a your friends want to go to a party, and that party may be cool, or you can go and maybe study for a day for a test that you are gonna have next week. While that party may be really cool right now, maybe staying home and studying for that day might save you from something else, because you never know what's gonna happen at the party. Maybe something goes down at the party, and then you're there, and then next thing you know, a situation happens that you can't get out of, when you could have just stayed at home and studied for the day. So that's, kind of a little bit of what I wanted to talk about as far as the quote. Hopefully I made sense kind of talking about it and explaining it. But if you guys want to keep hearing me more go in depth about these kind of quotes, I can definitely do that. But thank you guys for watching this Cerebral Solo, and I'll be back for the next one before the year ends, because I have something I want to talk about before the year ends. So I'll be back for the next one.